There is something rotten in Denmark. We are living in a surveillance state. A program of the NSA called Boundless Information collected 3 billion pieces of communication data on Americans in one 6-month period. Mr. James Clapper, the head of the NSA, has been lying to the American people. On 12 March 2013, he was asked at a Senate meeting, does the NSA collect any type of data on millions or hundreds of millions of Americans? Clapper's reply was succinct as it was dishonest. No, sir. We have the President of the United States, Barack Hussein Obama, signing a court order to have the records, the email records, the phone records, all communications of the Associated Press found and discovered so that they can see if they can find out who is leaking information. We have, by consensus of opposition and my own discoveries, most leaders of the American press believe that this administration is the most closed, most secretive in American history. And since most of you already have made up your minds that these are bad things, let me give you a practical illustration. You don't want the government listening to what we're saying? Take out your phone, open the back, pull out the battery. That is the only way, short of putting it in a freezer, that we can be sure that the government does not use our phones as a microphone to listen into what we're saying. They can control this remotely. How do I know this? My friends in the KGB told me this was one of the best pieces of technology that they were ever handed by American spies. And in fact, that is the heart of the matter. Are there necessary secrets for any society to have? Technology does not have a conscience. People have conscience. People make the difference. Do you believe that there are things that we need to do to keep ourselves safe? If there is something rotten in our state of Denmark, we cannot fix it while we are being attacked by foreign nations and people hostile to us. Just yesterday, while we were all, some of us, a few of us, celebrating Congressman Zeldin's ascension as a great representative of Long Island, the U.S. government launched a drone in Yemen that killed the head of Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, along with officials of the province of Al-Baida. Is that a bad thing? Could he have been planning to kill Americans? He had already killed a number in Yemen and was planning. Without certain limits of secrecy and foreign operations abilities, we cannot fight the evils that are abroad in our land. And I would argue to you that with people like Jim Risen from the New York Times, waiting to go to jail for disclosing information, with James Rosen, a longtime friend of mine at Fox News, a wonderful, fair and square and balanced news organization. We cannot undo the wrongs abroad in this land under one of the most repressive presidents we have had, Barack Hussein Obama. And that the person who is endangering our lives are endangering our ability to rectify the wrongs in our society is very evident. He is Edward Snowden. Mr. Snowden has disclosed secrets that are necessary for the United States to foreign powers. He has given away our ability to leverage foreign policy situations. This summer, we were in a weak position because of the feckless policies of Barack Hussein Obama and his cohorts to have any influence on Mr. Putin. He has given documents to Sweden on how the government there is spying on Russia. He has given documents to the world on how the U.S. uses cyber attacks as an intelligence weapon. He has made it clear how Al-Qaeda tracks down and shoots our drones. He has pleaded with Brazil that he will help them with security against the United States in betrayal of his oath of allegiance. He has sworn an oath when he was in the CIA. He should know better. In 1846, in July, Mr. Thoreau was in jail for not paying his taxes. The philosopher and friend Ralph Waldo Emerson went to visit him and said, "Thoreau, what are you doing in jail?" And Thoreau looked at him and said, "Waldo, what are you doing out?" Glenn Greenwald.
Good book. Good book. Read that book.
Won a Pulitzer Prize. We're not talking about journalists. We are not talking about good journalists. We're not talking about great journalists. We're talking about Edward Snowden. In his book, Mr. Glenn Greenwald, who spent a lot of time with Snowden, said after he got his Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer certification 2001, he started as a security guard at the Center for Advanced Study of Languages at the University of Maryland, a building secretly managed and used by the NSA. The intention, he said, was to get top secret clearance and thus get his foot in the door and then do technical work. He was a hunter-gatherer of information.
And then do what? And then do what?
Is that a point?
Technical work.
Yes. Thank you. Technical work.
Technical work. Gathering intelligence. He also says, knowing about the difference between what goes on inside this country and outside this country. Knowing about secrecy of technical means of intelligence. How do drones get tracked? When you leak the CIA secrets, you can harm people. I wasn't willing to do that. But when you leak the NSA secrets, you only harm abusive systems. I was much more comfortable with that. He's a hermaphrodite. He's half right. Talking.
Point of honor on behalf of hermaphrodites.
Talking about what's going on in the United States. Talking about how Verizon is compromising with the NSA is perfectly acceptable. When he discloses PRISM, a system of massive intelligence gathering of foreign nationals that happens to be based because Google and Yahoo are based in the United States, and lots of terrorists use them because they're free and they're massive and they're cheap. And not all terrorists are as smart as Osama bin Laden. And in fact, it's their stupidity that keeps us happy and safe. Disclosing PRISM is too much. A large definition, a global definition of treason is extreme acts against one's nation. Mr. Snowden was intoxicated with his own extremism. And by disclosing facts of national significance that go outside the United States, that have to do with technical means of finding terrorists, he has betrayed his country. It goes along with the intent to interfere with armed forces or to promote the success of enemies. That's the Espionage Act of 1917.
Point of order. We're not talking about espionage. Point of
We're
order.
not talking
That's
about
new
espionage.
information and a new argument. It does not belong in your summation.
Does not belong. Okay, we're not talking about espionage.
That's correct.
We're not talking
So
about
shut up
espionage.
about it.
We're not talking about espionage.
We have less than a
So,
minute.
if we're not talking about espionage, ask yourself what Mr. Snowden is doing in Moscow. Ask yourself.
That's also point of order. We have not talked about what he's doing there. That is a new point of argument.
Espionage.
point of
Let's
argument.
see.
Point
We're
well taken.
talking about
Point of
war.
order, Mr. Chair. Please clarify the matter.
Stay within the bounds of the arguments that have been made.
Thank you.
War. Espionage.
No,
War.
no. We have
If
not
we
talked
give
about
away-
that.
Point of order.
Point of order. We have not talked about espionage.
Point of order.
We have not talked about Russia, and I ask the honorable gentleman to stick within the rules of this debate.
If we are giving away documents about foreign policy operations and our ally Japan is in a state of war with another nation, are we betraying our treaties? What you see in Mr. Snowden is a betrayal, not inside the country on your privileges, not trampling on your First Amendment rights, not trampling on your Fourth Amendment rights. Those don't exist outside
Point of
the
order.
United
Time is
States.
up.